Welcome to the AT&T Girl League recap show with your host, Jordan Carothers.
Hey, it's me, Jordan. And ignore if you hear any weird sounds outside my neighborhood. If I would have recorded this like 45 minutes ago, there were children screaming like they were being murdered. So hopefully they've calmed down now. But welcome to the AT&T Girl League weekly recap for week 2. I apologize for not doing it week 1. I didn't know if I was even going to yet at that point or not. But now, here we are. But not going to waste any time. Let's get right into the week 2 recaps.
Football!
The first matchup is going to be the Mauve Avenger with the most handsome owner in the league versus Cordell, Cousins, Digg my Chubb. One of the greatest names I've ever heard. But going to go position by position. At the quarterback position, it was nothing overly special, but I will say good to see Geno Smith with a good week 2 bounce back after week 1. At the wide receiver position, pretty good on my side. Jahan Dotson's been kind of letting me down, but Tyler Lockett with 2 touchdowns. I will always take that. On Cordell's side, very above average, I would say, but just when I thought Trevor Lawrence was in love with Calvin Ridley, he doesn't give a shit about him anymore. At the running back position, Josh, you're the Vikings fan. I'm going to tell you, I want you to tell me, what the hell is going on with Alexander Mattison? Because I thought he was going to be great, but he's dog shit. But Zach Moss, I'm only going to get to play him for like probably a few more weeks. But until then, I'm going to ride him. Pause. On Cordell's side, we're going to ignore... We'll talk about his running back 1 in a little bit. We'll get to that. But Swift. I wasn't expecting much from Swift. Good call with that one there. I like it. Tight end. It's hard to beat Mark Andrews. Cordell, I'm sorry. The flex position. I had Puka Nacua, guys. Puka Nacua. That's Pukup Nakuper, we're going to call him. That's yeah. Until Cup comes back, if he does... That's an auto start, my friends. But James Conner on Cordell's side, very good as well with 16.6 points, over 100 rushing yards. I didn't think his legs had it in him anymore. But yeah, wow, the other flex positions were dog shit. Kelly and Herbert, we're just gonna ignore them. I don't care about kickers and defenses. As for IDPs though, mine were disappointing. Roquan Smith only 5 points after scoring 20 in week 1, but Micah Parsons for Cordell. 15.85 behind 2 sacks, 4 tackles, and a forced fumble. Love to see that. On the bench, Russell Wilson with 41 points. Kirk Cousins with 41 points. We apparently just played their own damn quarterbacks. That's pretty impressive. Good game from Kyron Williams and Brian Robinson as well on Cordell's bench. But on to the next matchup, Tuafinity and beyond. Ryan Murphy versus Scott. I'm 12. And what is this? Still a classic meme name. I love it. Daniel Jones with almost 38 points. That's incredible. And not much to speak about on the quarterback side for Scott's team, but that's okay. At wide receiver, disappointing week for Murphy. Not a whole lot going on there. Jamar Chase and A.J. Brown. My God, these guys fucking suck. But for Scott's team, CeeDee Lamb with 25. I'd like to see that. 143 yards on 11 catches. PPR machine. Running backs. Jahmyr Gibbs, 12.6 points. He's getting there. He's going to keep scooching his way on up. But on Scott's side, Rachaad White, after a pretty disappointing week 1, 21 points with 5 receptions. We like that. Tight end, man, I love Darren Waller. He's looking great. But Kyle Pitts is fucking dog shit. Get rid of that motherfucker. TJ Hawkinson, though, too, for Scott. I like that. TJ was great. In the flex position, but still, you don't see a flex tight end too often, but he nailed it. IDPs, once again, it was just the linebackers. Aaron Donald with a goose egg. Aaron Donald with nothing. But 15 from TJ Watt. 12 from, holy fuck, Oluokun. That's right? I think I've heard that before. Oluokun. Yeah, linebackers are great. On the bench, nothing crazy. Jerome Ford was 25 points, but I mean, that was kind of unexpected. And not much on Scott's bench, honestly. Let's move on. Discount double check downs. DV still holding on to that Aaron Rodgers dream versus Bijan Mostert, our defending champion Josh. Quarterback position, Jalen Hurts was great as always. Both of Josh's quarterbacks played very well. Wide receiver position, Devontae Smith. I think he's the new wide receiver 1 for Philly, I'll tell you that much. Keenan Allen. I love Keenan Allen this year. Old man still got it. And Mike Evans too. Look at Baker slinging it downfield. But Zay Jones, what a piece of shit. Running backs, McCaffrey and Barkley. That's stacked. If Barkley was still healthy, of course. But that's great for DV there. Bijan Robinson, he's doing the damn thing as a rookie. I like to see it. Not much from the tight ends there. Gabe Davis in the flex position. And Nico Collins in the flex position for Josh. Both guys crushing it. Both guys you don't expect to crush it every week, but here they are. IDPs, here we go. Finally a non-linebacker, with 12 points and Derwin James for Josh. And Fred Warner, he's always solid. As for the bench, Tank Dell on DV's bench, 20 points. I didn't expect much of anything from Tank Dell all year, but you'll definitely take that. And Josh's team's namesake, Raheem Mostert, 28, almost 29 points. He just forgot about him. That's all right. EC Breecey, Derek's team versus Deshaun. This is not Jake. This is one of, and I'm actually just now seeing what your team's picture is, Jake. Holy shit. One of the greatest team names. Deshaun, don't touch down there. Jake's team. And Jake with the win here. Quarterback position, Jared Goff he's solid. Over 303 touchdowns. And Josh Allen and Pat Mahomes are Josh Allen and Pat Mahomes for Derek. Wide receiver, I can say the same thing about Justin Jefferson. He's Justin Jefferson. But George Pickens also with 25 points to match. T. Higgins with a great game. And Garrett Wilson, but don't count on Garrett Wilson sticking around with big games like that because Zach Wilson exists now for Jake's team. Running back position, Tony Pollard and James Cook both scoring the exact same, 19.9 for Jake. That's solid. Wow, Breece Hall was dog shit. At tight end, Travis Kelce is Travis Kelce. I'm going to just keep on saying that, apparently. IDP's terrible all the way around. I know Derek is pretty sick of Hassan Reddick at this point. Don't start edge rushers at your linebacker spot. You got to get the tackle, guys. You got to get the tackle, people. Okay. Jordan Love on Derek's bench had a nice game, 26 points. He's looking okay. DV, you were worried. He's looking okay. Okay? And Sam Howell. It's just the quarterbacks on people's benches. They were pretty good. But that wraps it up for the week 2 matchups. And with that, we are going to move on to next week's matchups with a quick recap. We have the Mauve Avenger, my Hey Arnold team name of the year, versus DV with discount double checkdowns. Very, very close projection right now. DV projected to win by about roughly 6 points. Of course, I'm worried about Hurts in that Smith stack he's got. I'm worried about McCaffrey. You have to be worried about McCaffrey always. He's got Waddle, but Waddle's concussed. He might not play. Pacheco's questionable. I didn't even know Pacheco's questionable, but here we are. On my side, Miles Sanders is also questionable. Puka Nacua is questionable, but he was questionable last week and still played. I need Justin Fields to get his head out of his ass and just run. You don't even have to throw, Justin, you don't have to throw the ball. Just run. That's it. Just run. And I still have Tyreek Hill and Devontae Adams and Tyler Lockett at wide receiver. Wide receiver's solid, but I'm gonna need Cooper Kupp and Jonathan Taylor back here pretty soon at some point. With our next matchup, I'm not gonna do a project. I'm not gonna do a guess. See everyone else's games, I'll guess the winner. I'm not gonna do it for mine because I'm just gonna win. Next game's Tuafinity and Beyond. That's Ryan Murphy versus Easy Breecey for Derek's team. And it looks like very close. Wow, 228 to 225 the projection in favor of Derek's team. So another close projection. It's always tough to beat someone who has both Pat Mahomes and Josh Allen in the 2 quarterback league. So best of luck, Murphy. Although you have Chase and AJ Brown. I know we said they're letting us down, but maybe. Same goes for Josh Jacobs. Not great so far, but maybe. And of course you have Jerome Ford because Browns and all that stupid shit, Browns. And I like Ramondre Stevenson on Derek's team too. I don't know. I think overall I gotta give this one to Derek though because Mahomes and Allen. That's tough in a 2 quarterback league. That's hard to beat. But the next matchup is Cousins, Digg my Chubb, Cordell's team versus Scott. I'm 12, and what is this? He's in the next room behind me. He can probably hear me talking about it right now. We got quarterback looking rough for Cordell this week. Derek Carr, he's never quite been that fantasy goldmine quarterback. And Joe Burrow, we don't know if he's going to play. Everything I've heard, I think he said he's feeling better, but the coach speak doesn't sound great. I don't think Burrow's going to play. He's got Diggs. He's going to have to dig him out of that hole. And I don't think I trust Swift. I think it's going to be a different running back every week for the Eagles. I think I'm calling my shot. Rashad Penny, 100 yards this week. Put it on the board. call it. On the other side, Scott, he's got DK Metcalf, he's got CeeDee Lamb, he's got Ayuk, he's got these strong... Oh, Ayuk's out, never mind. He's going to have to replace Ayuk there. But still, Metcalf and Lamb, that's strong. David Montgomery's probably not going to play, probably going to have to replace him there. Joe Mixon, that's solid. The projection here, it favors Cordell, but it's overall a low-scoring projection for both sides, 205 to 193. And they're still currently projecting Burrow to play. I don't think he's going to, so I'm gonna call Scott winning this one. You hear that? Yeah, he hears that. Last matchup, Deshaun. Don't touch down there. That's Jake versus Bijan Mostert. That's our defending champion, Josh. Projection is holy hell close. 229.09 to 229.03. 0.06 favorite for Jake. At the quarterback position, man, I like Josh's quarterbacks. Herbert and Lamar Jackson. Those two can pop off at any time. Meanwhile, Jake's got Deshaun Watson. Yeah. Amon-Ra St. Brown, he's banged up. He has turf toe. He might be limited a little bit for Jake. But Garrett Wilson's another issue. He's got Pollard. Pollard is incredible. He's got Kelsey. Kelsey's incredible. On Josh's side, Mike Williams is always a wild card. He's both Mike Williams and Keenan Allen with the Justin Herbert stack. He's going to have some huge weeks with that, but it's scary. Mike Evans has been great. Bijan's been great. He has Derrick Henry. He has Mostert back in there. Good job. I'm giving it to Josh on this one, man. I know it's a very close projection. I just think he's going to take it. But speaking of Josh, we are going to have an interview from the champion, Josh himself. So let's hear what Josh has to say. Take it away, Jordan.
Football!
And we are here with Joshua Leonard, a.k.a. Bijan Mostert, I believe this year, correct?
Yep.
I like it, the ever-elusive two-player team name. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
So, going to get right into it. So, first question. You were essentially the champion last year, but you decided to split the winnings with Cordell. So, tell me what the thought process was behind that decision.
All right. So, going into the final game before it got kind of called off, I was winning, and I had every intention of winning, but also didn't want to win in that way. So with the injury and everything, and they were basically saying they weren't sure if they were going to replay the game just because of the seriousness, all of that, I was like, you know what? I think the best thing is I'll reach out to him and say we just kind of divide it down the middle and split it, because that's not the way I wanted to win.
Now, I don't remember what the scoring exactly was at that time, but I do remember everyone kind of talking about how it seemed like you were kind of the shoe-in for it, but you kind of decided to be the nice guy and just kind of call it off there at the end.
Yeah, and that's where, and I know that if it was him too, I kind of put that into it. He would do the same thing. I think
so
like
too.
if he was in the power position there, I think he would have done the same thing.
I think so too. And yeah, that was a weird time because nobody really knew what was going to happen with that last game. I was fully prepared when I texted you both to have some kind of big discussion with all kinds of different ideas and whatnot, and it was just easy. Let's just split it. Just screw it.
Yep.
Well, works out, I guess, but you still get the belt at the end of the day because it had to go to somebody. Beautiful. I love her. That's our girl. So, next up, you were this week's highest scorer, beating out the second highest scorer at DV, actually. So, were you paying close attention to that matchup? And if you were, when did you kind of realize you had it won, considering how close it was?
So, I was paying attention, but it also was one of those things I knew it was going to... Oh, hang on, I'm getting a phone call there. Let me... Can you still see me and hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. Yeah, so, yeah, I was paying close attention to it, but it's one of those things, it seems like whenever you really, really dial in and watch it is whenever you lose. So I almost literally did one of those things. I was like, you know what? It's not in my hands anymore. So let's see wherever we end up. So I ended up, kind of towards the end, like whenever we were going through the game, I was like, you know what? I'm just not going to watch it. Let's see where we end up, where the cards fall.
That's fair. And you ended up on top, so good job.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next question. What is your least favorite thing about your wife?
My least favorite thing about my wife?
Yes.
No, she's right over there. So my least favorite thing is the fact that she was in a fantasy football league with me last year. No, 2 years ago. but then she decided not to do it because she thought she wasn't good enough. But I was like, no, I'm like, that's not true. I'm like, you definitely can do it because we know for the first couple of years you're just not good because you don't know what you're doing.
Women, right?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
She wasn't out there.
I didn't mean that. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Tell her I said hello.
I will. Nothing. Don't worry about it. You can go back to watching that.
So anyway, your wide receiver 4, which in this league, of course, is a starting wide receiver, Zay Jones, he scored you 0 points this week. So do you think you can trust him going forward, or are you moving on from that position?
Oh, boy. I still have hope for him. I hate to say that. It's kind of, I've been burnt before. I was one of the biggest fans of Eddie Lacy back in the day.
Ooh,
and,
Eddie.
man, I'll tell you, I got burnt over and over and over again. But kind of like with Percy Harvin, who I'm wearing right now, whenever he was in there, it was like you didn't know if he was going to get you 2 touchdowns that he ran back from a kick return, or if he was going to get a concussion on his first play and you're not going to see him for 3 weeks. But he's trustable, but I don't know that I'll be starting him this week.
Understandable. Can't let him burn you twice. Not 2 weeks in a row, at least.
Well, if I don't start him, then he'll probably score a bunch of points. That's usually how it goes.
That's what happens. It's fantasy football. Welcome to it. That's how it goes. So next up, you did not play Raheem Mostert this week, despite naming your team after him. So do you think he took that personally, and that's why he popped off for over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns?
100%. I took him late, very late, because I think everyone was kind of passing on him because they're like, oh, yeah, he's, but that's literally what he is. He's the definition of mediocre. Like, he's like in that David Montgomery kind of, area there. But I think he did take it personally because I think I put in Delvin Cook, if I remember,
and
over
how'd that
top
go
of him.
For you?
Not great,
Yeah.
But I had this weird feeling. I was like, man, maybe we'll just throw the ball to him a bunch because he can catch, but I was wrong.
Was it that Vikings bias?
It was, and it always will be. But I think this week he's in my starting lineup, and he will probably remain in my starting lineup until things change because he has proved me, actually 2 weeks in a row. His first week wasn't too bad, but his last week was really good.
Now what about whenever Jeff Wilson comes back?
We'll see. We'll see how the cards shake out.
Okay, that's fair. All right, so last question for you. You face Jake this coming week, and currently the projections are very, very close. So how confident do you feel going into that matchup, and who do you think is going to carry you to victory?
Oh, who's going to carry me to victory is going to be Bijan, because that's who has been carrying me to victory basically every week, because he's consistently, I got as many shares as him as I could basically across all my leagues. Overpaid for him in a few leagues too, where it was an auction. But Bijan, I actually really like my team, even though I kind of did a little bit of a different strategy this year. So I think there's a couple little changes, little tweaks I want to do to it, but barring injuries, I should win. Because usually the strategy I look at is I don't have those people that project for high points, but they usually perform pretty well. So you have a smirk on your face there.
I'm just vibing, man. I'm just listening.
Yeah.
I'm just here.
So yeah, I think that I will beat Jake this week.
Big talk. We'll just have to see what he says about it. So I was hoping your answer for that would be Raheem Mostert, but I guess we don't care about Raheem Mostert.
No, I gotta talk crap on him because then he'll perform again.
Okay.
So I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm benching you, Raheem, because you're listening to this. I am benching you.
I got him in a few too, so I'm gonna need you to talk all your shit that you can.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all I got for you, man. Anything else you would like to say?
That was it. Cool. I like the style and everything. I think this will be cool once it's kind of all put together at the end. And if you need me to step in again, just let me know because I enjoyed it.
My man. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be doing interviews every week, but, I'm going to kind of slide a few on in there every now and then. So appreciate you being the first one, my man.
All right.
I will talk to you sometime soon then. Back to you, Jordan.
Football!
Thanks, Jordan. And we're going to take a quick look at the standings. After 2 weeks, we have two 2-0 teams. The roommates over here. Scott over here in first place with 2-0, and the okay, I don't know how many points. He has the second most overall points with 477 on the dot. And look who's also 2-0, fulfilling the prophecy of every other year being second place already. 2-0, 451.43 points. That is the Mauve Avenger. That is me. We have 4 teams at 1-1. That is Jake, Josh, Cordell, and Derek. And our 2 losers at 0-2 are Devie and Murphy. And let's see, leading the way in the pink shirt contest so far is Ryan Murphy. That'd be a first-timer. Take it off of Jake for the first time in a while. So, those are the standings for week 2. Now, let's do some quick weekly awards.
Football!
So, we are going to start with the best transaction. I'm considering both week 1 and week 2 here since I did not do a week 2 show, but guys, I mean, I got Puka Nacua. I'm sorry, Kyron's great too. Cordell, I think, got him, but I got Puka. That's the best transaction of the first 2 weeks. How can it not be? So, I win best transaction. Thank you. Weekly MVP, I am giving this one to Danny Dimes, Daniel Jones, with 37.89 points. What was most impressive was that most of that came in the second half after they got dog-walked in the first half. Congratulations to Daniel Jones. The Weekly Dud Award is going to Breece Hall. I know we had some goose eggs, Zay Jones, whatnot, but Breece Hall, we expect this man to be a stud. I know even with the knee recovery, but still, 4 touches. 4 touches, he's your best offensive player. Maybe Garrett Wilson, okay, but you gotta get Breece Hall the ball more than 4 times. 0.9 points, not gonna cut it. The biggest blowout award is Scott Snyder over Ryan Murphy by 38.24 points. Congratulations to you, Scott. And also, biggest upset award, Scott Snyder over Murphy. Murphy was expected to win, and that did not happen. And now Murphy is 0-2 and dead last in overall points. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes week 2 of the AT&T Girl recap, or AT&T Girl League recap. Listen, I'm trying. This is my first time, whatever. Get over it. I will see you guys next week.